Good morning, first graders. Today is Tuesday and it is April 7th. I am here at my house and I am also with my two dogs. So I will turn around so you guys can see my two dogs here with me today. I have Izzy back here and Ava down here, and they are going to be hanging out with me as we talk about characters again and setting today. So yesterday we talked about the characters in a story, and today we're going to focus more on the setting of a story. So quickly, let's go over what a character in the story is. If you'd like to pause, you can talk to an adult or family member and remind them what a character is in a story. All right, and again, if you said a character was a person, animal, or thing in a story, you are correct. So for instance, if I read a book and the character's name was Tom, I would draw him and label him with his name because he was a character in the story. If I read a book like Pete the Cat, I would draw a picture of Pete and he is an animal, so he is also a character in the story. Or if I read a book and it had a robot, but no people or animals, the robot would be a character in a story because he is a thing in the story and it's who the story is about. Now today we're going to talk about setting. So I would like you to pause the video and turn and talk to an adult or family member and tell them what you think a setting is. And family members, if you would like to record what your child says and let me know, I would love to hear their answers. All right. If you said a setting is where the story takes place, you are correct. So a setting could be where, and it can also be when the story takes place. So if we looked back at our book, Little Red Riding Hood, that we've read before, we can tell where the setting takes place or when the story takes place by looking at the drawings and illustrations, and also by listening for words in the story to help us figure out where the setting is or when the setting is. So in the middle of the book, more so, beginning and middle, we look at the pictures and I see trees, I see grass, I see birds and owls, I see a path. I wonder where the story is or where the story takes place in the middle of the book. I might say the forest or woods. Would you? Even in the story, if I were reading it again, I would see the word forest. So I could look back and look for the word forest. Grandma lived on the other side of the forest. I could use Lips the fish to think of the beginning sound and look for that word forest to help me locate and spell the word when I go to draw the forest and label it. Towards the end of the book, Little Red goes to visit her grandma at her house, her grandma's house, and Wolf is already there. So I would say the other setting of this story is at Grandma's house. And we can tell it's at Grandma's house because you see a pretend grandma, and you also see things that look like you'd see inside of the house, like a bed. You see the bed, or you see stairs, and that just looks like an inside of the house. So if we look back at this chart, it says a setting is where the story takes place. Now, if I was showing the setting for Little Red Riding Hood, my dog is laying on my laptop, so sorry, messed up the view a little bit. If I was doing Little Red Riding Hood, I would show Grandma's house and draw a nice picture with details. The house isn't floating in space, it's on grass, there's sky, and I'm telling you when the story takes place by adding a sun because it's in the daytime. I could also say the woods and give details of the grass, the path that they travel on. You see trees. I could have also added birds or owls like in the book and added a sun to represent the daytime. Now, other stories, such as like the rainbow fish, might take place somewhere else, like the ocean. So stories can have different kinds of settings. It's up for us to look with our eyes for illustrations and drawings, and to listen with our ears for words that help us figure out where the story takes place. So today we're going to reread The Dog Who Cried Wolf, and we're going to think about, where does the story take place? When does the story take place? We are thinking about the setting. So just looking at the front cover, can you guess where the story takes place? What daytime is it? Where is the dog? So as I read, look at the drawings and illustrations and listen for words that might help us figure out where the story takes place. So we are rereading the book, The Dog Who Cried Wolf. Mocha was a good dog. He and Michelle loved to be together. Life was perfect until one day she read a book about wolves. "Look, Mocha," said Michelle, "you're kind of like a wolf." "Wow," thought Mocha, "I am kind of like a wolf. But how amazing wolves are. They run around free, hunt wild animals, and stay up late to howl at the moon." You might hear my dog Izzy crying. I think she wants to be a wolf too. "And look at the way I live," Mocha sighed. "I'm nothing but a house pet." He felt like a failure, especially when Michelle made him dress up for her tea parties. He wanted to be a wolf. The next day, Mocha made up his mind. He snuck out of the house and took off for the mountains. He ran and ran and ran. Ooh, I think I just heard some words in the story that can help me figure out where the setting takes place. Until finally he reached a high mountaintop. "I'm free," he yelped. Free as a wolf. He ran, he jumped, he danced, and he peed whenever he wanted. "Wow," he exclaimed, "the world is mine." Soon Mocha got hungry. "No problem," he cried. "I'll hunt for my food, just like the wolves do." And off he went. But a rabbit outran him, a skunk sprayed him, a beetle pinched him, and even a field mouse made fun of him. By nightfall, Mocha was miserable. He missed Michelle. "I even miss her tea parties," he mumbled, "but I can't give up yet. There's just one more thing I have to try." He gazed at the golden moon and howled as loudly as he could. "Ow!" Just like a wolf. Suddenly something howled back. "Howl! Howl!" And then again, "Howl!" Mocha froze. "Wolves!" he cried. "Real wolves!" He turned and raced down the mountain. "I want to go home," he panted. "I never want to be a wolf again." He ran and ran and ran. Until finally he reached the house he knew so well. "Mocha!" Michelle shouted as soon as she dashed out to meet him. "You're back." Mocha was home again, and he and Michelle were oh so happy. Life was just perfect until one day she read a book about monkeys. The end. All right, as I read that story, I hope your eyes were looking for pictures, drawings, illustrations that could help you figure out where the setting was, and listening for key words that are going to help us figure out where the story takes place too. All right, so remember, a setting is where the story takes place, and it could also be when the story takes place. So if you need to, pause the video and go back into the book and stop at pages to really look at the drawings and illustrations to help you figure out where the setting is of this story. So when you are done with this video, I would like you to go over to the Seesaw page and you're going to complete the setting activity. So I'm going to pull that up on my screen so we can do that together. All right, so it will be on the top. It says setting and April 7th. That is our date. So when you see an assignment, it has directions on how to do the assignment underneath the title of it. So once I am done making this video, I am going to put the link to this video right here on number 2, so that way you can just press it and watch it through YouTube. You will also have a play instructions button down here. I have not added that yet, but I will in just a moment. It'll look something like this with a sideways triangle, and it will say our sight word play instructions. So you'll just hit that button when it's under here, and that will play the instructions for you guys to listen to. When you are ready, you are going to press that add response button. Yours will ask you for your name, and you'll have to click on your name before starting your activity. So it's just loading. All right, and this is your setting assignment. So on this assignment, it asks for your book title. This is not your name, book title. So the title of the book was The Dog Who Cried Wolf. All right, so you can do this 2 different ways. You could use the drawing tool like this, or there's a pen tool, and you can spell it out using your finger, or you can use the label tool over here. It's a T. It'll make something called a text box. So you can press on that, and you can type in the dog who cried wolf. And remember, I can't move that box now, but I can if I go back and hit this hand tool one more time. And then I can move it around and drag it to where I need it to go. All right, so then your job is to draw or illustrate the setting of the story we just read. So if my story was, for instance, Little Red Riding Hood, I'm going to think about where the story mostly takes place. So it could be the woods or grandma's house. So right now I'm going to draw the woods. So what is in the woods? Oh, I saw trees. So I could start with maybe some brown trees, like so. Do trees have leaves? Yeah, sometimes they do. It depends what season. So maybe I'll make some leaves on my tree. Now, do the trees float in the air? No, I need some ground too. So I might make a hill. And Little Red kind of went on a path, didn't she? So I might make a path through here. And then we also saw something like birds in the trees. So I might make a bird. And I might make a sun because it's the daytime. And think about what color the sky is if it's the daytime. It might be like a lighter blue, right? So just try your best to put out your best drawings to illustrate the setting of your story. right? And when I'm done drawing my picture, I might go back in and add some more, but when you are done with your illustration or drawing, you are going to label